When you're overweight, the best start you can have is to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. That's literally how I did it for my first 2 years of working out. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I did it and how you can just copy me. Let's get one thing immediately out of the way. The absolutely only way to lose fat is to be in a calorie deficit. You want to burn more calories than what you eat. Now you probably already know this, but I had to say it because it's impossible to make a video about fat loss without talking about calorie deficit. Now when you try to lose weight, there's two things you have to aim for. The first is of course to be in a calorie deficit. The second is your protein intake. You want to aim for 0.8 to 1.2 grams of protein per pound of body weight. If you weigh about 300 pounds, 300 grams of protein is a bit too much. So what you want to do is to look at your ideal weight. Let's say you want to weigh 180 pounds. This is what you do. You take anywhere from 0.7 to 1.2 times 180. There you have your daily goal for your protein intake. Now it's also important that we get our protein from the right sources. We don't just want to drink protein shakes, and the reason why is because protein shake only has protein. It doesn't have any other nutrients. It doesn't really have any vitamins or minerals. And we know that the best way to build muscle is to have a healthy body. It's not just about the protein. Now, I'm not saying that you should never take protein shakes. They're not meant to replace real food. So get majority of your protein from eggs, ground beef, chicken breast, chicken leg, tuna, salmon. Eat natural unprocessed foods so you get as much nutrients as possible. And trust me, when you eat healthy foods, you will see a big difference when you work out. You will have better sessions, you will be able to train with more intensity, you will have more energy throughout the day. And another thing with protein shakes will never taste as good as normal drinks. So you might as well buy the natural version, because the natural unflavored protein shakes has less chemicals. Now if you have tried the natural version and you don't like it, sure, buy chocolate or strawberry or vanilla, but just keep in mind it has more chemicals. Now there's a chance you have heard people say that if you want to lose weight you have to count your calories. In reality you don't need to do it. I didn't do it because I don't like it. But let me tell you this, counting your calories is probably the most effective way to make sure you're on a calorie deficit, but you don't need to do it. Instead of counting my calories, I just increased how much protein I eat and lowered my carb intake. Because in reality, almost everyone who's overweight is overweight because they ate too much carbs. This is probably the easiest way to lose fat. It's through lowering the amount of sugar you eat and increasing how much natural unprocessed foods you eat. So now we have covered the diet part, how I did it differently, and we're gonna talk about training. Now when it comes to your training, there's a few things you have to know. The first is you need to train with intensity, because if you don't train with intensity, you're not able to stimulate the muscle. Honestly, you should get uncomfortable by how hard you train. Trust me, I already know that you know this, but I see too many beginners fall for this mistake. They go to the gym and they think they're training hard when in reality they're not doing that. The only way to make sure you're training with intensity is to look at your last reps. Your last reps should be slow. Your face should turn red. You should sweat. That's how hard you're supposed to train if you want to maximize muscle growth. I would even tell you most of your sets should go to failure. You should not be able to do another rep. Now when you train with intensity, after a few weeks you will get stronger, and that is when the next principle should be applied, and that is progressive overload. Every time you get stronger, you should increase the weight or the reps. Over time, your training should get harder and harder. You need to keep challenging the muscle. So progressive overload and intensity go hand in hand. This is the only way to grow. If you're not applying these two principles, you will fail. You won't be able to maximize hypertrophy. And now let's talk about your workout split. Now every workout split has advantages and disadvantages. For example, on the push-pull leg, you leave your arms to last. On Arnold split, you hit chest and back at the same day. On upper-lower day, you hit your whole upper body in the same day. So what I'm trying to tell you is that your workout split doesn't really matter. All of them work. All of them have weaknesses, so just pick one and stick with that. As a beginner, I would recommend push-pull leg because it's easier to follow. That's how I did it for my first year of working out. I followed the push-pull leg. And when it comes to your sets and reps, I would recommend 3 sets per exercise and anywhere from 6 to 12 reps. It depends a bit on the exercise. on the big movements, for example squat, bench press, RDL, you can do 6 reps. But on the smaller movements, for example cable lateral raise or triceps pushdowns, I would aim for about 8 to 12. Now the reason why I wouldn't recommend 6 reps on the cable lateral raises is because you won't have any stability. On exercises like the lateral raises, stability is a big factor. You won't be able to have the right form and technique with 6 reps. Now let's talk about cardio. There's a thing I want to tell you. In order to lose weight, the foods you eat has a much bigger impact than doing cardio. You should still do cardio because it's healthy, but don't do cardio just because you want to lose weight. Cardio is great for your mind, for your body, for your heart. So do the cardio for the health reasons. I would recommend doing cardio 2 to 3 times a week. Do it after your strength training for about 20 minutes. Just make sure that the intensity is not too high, because when your intensity is high on the cardio, it will take away from your muscle recovery. And now, let's talk about recovery and sleep. We are humans. You need to sleep about 7 to 9 hours per day. That's non-negotiable. You can't work out every single day. You need recovery. If you work out every single day, trust me, this will happen to you. Your knees and your shoulders will be in life support. Every single guy who has worked out has knee and shoulder injuries because they have worked out too much. They learned their lesson the hard way. So please, go to the gym about 5 times a week. Now if you want to go deeper about losing weight and you want to learn a few things that I quit in order to get ripped, watch this video right here.